Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Hey everyone, how are you? Good to see you. Happy to be here. Glad you're joining me. Tonight we're going to be putting together something that I think is very unique and different. And if you tuned in last week, you're prepared for this because we spoke about keeping the stems from our collard greens and that I cook them. And so tonight, in honor of Taco Tuesday, I have created an African diaspora inspired taco. This is going to be bananas and it's so unique. I'm so excited to share this with you all. So let's jump in. The taco that we're going to make, the tortilla, is actually going to be made from cassava and plantain flour. What's unique about that and what's special about that is then the tortilla will be gluten-free. And we are using ingredients that are from the continent. This is kind of like the bougie version. If you want to do it like this, just get the cassava flour. This can be bought on Amazon. And of course, we'll have links at the end of this. Or you can take it straight back to Mama Africa and use fufu flour, which is what I use. Fufu flour is so great for this recipe because the end result is this like super soft, pillowy, just like comfort. It's great. So this is what we're going to be using this evening to make our tortillas. However, the star or the supporting actor of this dish are going to be the stems from our collard greens. So we're gonna just get started. Now, if you did the greens from last week, you should have kept the stems. And I'm just showing you how easy it is to pull the leaves off. See that? Okay, a few more. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut these on the bias. They don't have to be, we don't want big chunks, but we want them even cuts. So if you can see, this is what you should end up with, okay? So I've already cut up some of those because we're fixing two things, so we gotta hustle tonight. So here are our collard green stems. You can also use kale stems if you want to, but we're using collard green stems tonight. And what we're going to prepare with these collard green stems, I have some julienne bell peppers. I have some white onion, sliced white onion, and I have some mushrooms. And the seasoning that I'm going to use to bring this all together, remember we're celebrating the African diaspora, I'm going to use some powdered jerk seasoning, okay? So it's going to have a little bitter, a little heat, a little sweetness to it. It's going to be delicious. I love layering flavors. So let's get started on this because, again, we have two parts. So we're going to go over to the stove. And we are going to pour a little bit, maybe like a tablespoon of oil in this pan. We're going to let it get hot. Garlic in this dish. There's a reason why. When I cook greens, the actual leaves, the garlic cooks down. And because the leaves are not as bitter as the stalk, it works with that. I have found when I fix the stalks with garlic, it's overpowering. It's too much. Okay, so we're just going to add our onions. You can hear they're sizzling already. Add some of our bell pepper. Remember, we talked about things looking and tasting good. So we always want to cook with a lot of color. And one of the things that people that eat really healthy meals, proponents of plant-based cooking always say, eat the rainbow. So keep that in mind. We're eating the rainbow. We are moving along quite quickly here. So now we're going to add our stock to this. Turn this heat down just a little bit. And I know this seems kind of like an odd dish, but trust me, it's really delicious. And I thought it up one day because I realized how much I was wasting. Even when I thinly sliced the stem that was part of the leaf, there was still so much left over. So I decided to try this, and I've even served it to some meal delivery from private chef clients, and they loved it. Okay, so we've got a good start on that. I'm going to sprinkle some of my powdered jerk seasoning on this. Stir it up a little more. It already smells amazing. I'm going to turn this down a little more. And I'm going to add just a touch, maybe like 2 tablespoons worth of water. So that can steam a little bit. And I'm going to cover this up. And now we're going to go back to the front camera and we're going to work on our fufu tortillas. Okay. Oops. I did this last week and I did it again. I forgot the mushrooms. In go the mushrooms. In go the mushrooms. All right. So for those of you that have to have really good cooked mushrooms, remember to add it in earlier. If they don't have to be cooked for you, you can add them on later on. We're gonna let these steam for a little bit, so they'll definitely be cooked down by the time we get to it. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Okay, so now we're gonna work on these tortillas. So I have about a cup of my fufu flour in here. To this, we're gonna kick up our nutrient density. How are we gonna do that? To this mixture, I'm gonna add a little bit of curcumin. I know you've probably heard of curcumin. Curcumin comes from turmeric. We're gonna add a little turmeric that has curcumin, I'm sorry. So turmeric and curcumin are great for you because they're antioxidants and they're anti-inflammatory. So this is a great thing to add to this. Not only does it add nutrient density, but it gives it a beautiful color. I don't know, mushrooms. I don't know what the story is, Shauna. Here's the thing, when you use turmeric, in order to activate the curcumin, you must use black pepper because curcumin on its own, it doesn't absorb easily. But once you add black pepper to the mix, it increases the absorption by 2,000%. So we want to use black pepper. So we're sprinkling a little bit of that in there. To this, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. That's maybe like half a teaspoon. I'm going to mix this up. Trying to evenly distribute things. I probably have some followers, some watchers who eat fufu traditionally, and they're probably like, "She's doing what with it?" Trust me, it's going to taste great. So I'm going to grab a little bit of oil, a little bit of oil to go into this mixture. Again, we're going to do about a tablespoon of it. No palm oil tonight, but oil. Mix this through, and now we're going to add some water. Now, the challenge with this is there really is no perfect amount of water to add because all these flours are slightly different. But what you will see, I use a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit of olive oil. So you see how it just sucks it up. So you're going to keep adding water to this because if there's one thing fufu does, it sucks up water. So we're just going to keep working with this. And sometimes I like to squeeze it through my hand to make sure that the water is evenly distributed and it's getting everywhere. You can see there's some spots that don't have it. So we're going to keep doing this. And I'm going to keep doing this until the mixture starts to pull away from the sides of the bowl. That's when you know that you've got a good consistency. It's still a little too crumbly. Because we need to be able to shape this. I'm telling you, these tortillas are my favorite. Sometimes I make them, I separate them with wax paper and I freeze them and I eat them sometimes just like slices of avocado, or to like my Haitian followers, my friends, I'll put some pickles on there with a little bit of avocado, and it's just, they're so yummy. Okay, so we're getting there. See how it's starting to pull away from the sides? See how it's pulling away from the sides? That's what you want. And if, anybody who bakes and makes bread and things like that, you know what I'm talking about when I say it starts to pull away from the side. So you see, you've got this beautiful yellow color. Okay, I think we are about ready. And if we're not, I'll throw it back in the bowl and add a little more water. So let me just wash my hands. Okay, and I'm going to turn on my tawa. Anybody who is West Indian knows what that is. Tawa is the pan that you use actually to fix roti and a lot of flatbreads. Okay, so this is how we make these perfect sized tortillas. Now, depending on how big you want to make them, you can use a bigger scoop, but I like to make mine just a little bit bigger than like the street size tacos you can get. So I use a scoop and I take 2 sheets of wax paper. You can just buy some parchment paper and cut it in half and cut it in quarters. And so overhead can show what's going on here because this is important. Okay, so I place one of the sheets. Shauna, you've got this. Trust me. You've got one of the sheets here. We're going to take a scoop of this mixture, put it smack dab in the middle. We're going to take another sheet, put it on top, go like that, and boom, our tortilla is made. Okay, so again, you can make them much bigger if you want to, but I make them small like this because they're bite sized, and I like that. I feel like I can eat more. I can eat like 3 or 4 of them. So that's that. So we've got one done, and we're going to keep going. Oh, by the way, I neglected to mention that this is a tortilla press. These can be purchased at any international market, or you can get it on Amazon or eBay. This is a great thing to have when you're making homemade tortillas. I use this for a lot of things. I use it when I make homemade tostones, which are the green plantain that are flattened and deep fried. So there are plenty of things you can use it for. So let's keep hustling because time is running out. We're going to keep making those tortillas. So we put another one down, put this on top. Boom. Another one is done. So let me check my pan. Check this up a notch. And just so you know, the reason the pan looks like that is it's nonstick. I know it looks a little gully, but it's fine. And depending on how big your tortillas are, you know, this mixture will probably make me maybe about 10, 12. All right, so our pan should be good and hot now. Yep. So what I'm gonna do, if you follow me over to the stove now, we've already got these tortillas on their individual pieces of like wax paper, parchment paper, and I'm simply gonna like put it directly on this non-stick surface. So you can use a non-stick pan for this. You don't have to have what I have. A non-stick pan will work fine. Okay, so we've got 4 of them on the grill. And let's check our collard green stems. That looks great. Onions, mushrooms, we got that jerk seasoning in there. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt to it, not much, because remember, we want our natural flavors to shine through. We don't want to overwhelm things with salt. We're people of color that have issues with hypertension, so we want to keep that to a minimum. Okay. And our tortillas are cooking. So what you typically will start to see, you will see them start to kind of fluff up. You know, I wonder if you all can see this clearly. Let me move this pan out. Can you see me clearly? Or should I move this pan a little closer? Okay. So now we're flipping them over. When you put your spatula underneath them, if it goes under easy, you're ready to flip. If it resists, you got a little bit more time. Okay, so we flip them over. Closer would be good? Okay. So let me try to move this over without burning myself. Let's do this. Do not do this at home, people. The difficult thing about this pan is the whole thing gets hot. Okay, we've moved over. All right, so again, it's easy to get underneath there, so it lets us know. So I do it on each side one time and then a third time for good measure, and you will see why. When you flip it over the third time, you're gonna start to see it puff up. I don't know if you can see it from there, but you see how this is starting to rise up? That lets you know that it's completely cooked inside. It gets puffy just like that. And when it gets puffy like that, I take it off and I put it on my little cooling rack. And it literally is just that simple. All right, so now we're gonna assemble our collard green stem tacos. And go back to the front camera. So earlier this evening, I made a little cashew cheese. I'll be happy to share that recipe with you. So we're going to take 2 of these tortillas. You can see the overhead. This is one of my favorite parts, is making it pretty. And we're gonna add a little cashew cheese at the base. Just a little bit. We've got our collard green stem mixture. We're just going to put a little bit right there. We've got our collard greens, our mushrooms, our bell peppers. That actually is probably a bit much. I have a bad habit of putting too much on these things. Now, you don't have to eat it like that. You can eat it with a knife and fork if you want to. I'm an avocado lover. Fufu, no, fufu is either, so there's 3, the most popular types of fufu are cocoa yam, plantain, or cassava flour. Those are the most popular ones. And it's, very, very popular in West Africa. And it's eaten by hand. And it's yummy. So we have our avocado, and then we're going to put some cilantro on it. And let me tell you about cilantro. While cilantro tastes good, it also helps to rid your body of heavy metals. And, just on the daily, we absorb heavy metals. There could be in the water source, your food source, there's so many different ways you get those metals in your body. And so by eating cilantro, not only do you have a delicious meal, but you're ridding your body of these heavy metals. So if you can see, these are our finished product. And my niece is not dressed appropriately for this evening, but I'm still gonna have her get on camera because I want you all to see her face when she tastes this. So my friends, this is fufu tortilla with collard green stems. Yummy. And it's African diaspora fabulousness, deliciousness. You're not gonna come on? Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to come on screen. I will taste it and let you know. And again, this can be eaten with a fork if you have to. I'm greedy, so I'm gonna try to eat it like this, but Is that yummy?
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge you all, little pepper here. I challenge you all to try this recipe. One of the things I love doing is using traditional foods in untraditional and non-traditional ways, which absolutely with this fufu flour, that's what I'm doing. But these are great. You can make them. You put your wax paper in between them, put them in your freezer. They warm up very, very quickly. They're great for anything. I mean, they're delicious, and they're super pillowy and soft and yummy. And I want you all to experience this. So just so you know, this week I was not able to get this to you ahead of time, but the recipe will be listed on the website or on the Reclamation Project page and on my page. And then next week, I'll be sure to get the recipe to you in advance. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm thinking I might take you all on a raw food journey next week. So we will see. But thank you for tuning in. I'm going to finish this taco.